Welcome, dear boys of class 6. Today, let us study the first chapter of civics. The name of the topic is Understanding Diversity. Understanding diversity means to understand varieties. Children, look around you in the classroom. Do you see anyone who looks exactly like you do? In this chapter, you will learn that people are different from each other in many ways. In your class, you will never find two persons or two boys are like same. In this chapter, you will learn that people are different from each other in many ways. Not only do they look different, but they might also belong to different regional, cultural, and religious backgrounds. You will find children, they are not only their appearance different, but they might also belong to different regional, different cultural, or different religious backgrounds. These differences enrich our lives in many ways and also make them more fun. All these different people who come from all kinds of backgrounds and belong to all kinds of religions and cultures help to make India so interesting and so diverse. So, all these different religions or cultures, it makes our India very interesting and so diverse. They are different. What does diversity add to our lives? How did India become like this? Are all kinds of difference a part of diversity? Can diversity also be a part of unity? Read this chapter to find some answers of the above question. Children, three children around your age have drawn the figures above. See the figures which is given above. These are the figures which is drawn by three children. Use the empty box to draw your human figure. See to your right side of the book or right margin of the book, you will find an empty box is there. Here what you have to do, you use it and draw your human figure. After drawing, you see, is your drawing similar to any of the others? To compare your figure with the three figures which is given in this page, whether you find any similarity there, any same figure there, the chances are that your drawing is quite different from the other three. Most probably you will find whatever you have drawn, It is quite different to compare with those three. This is because each one of us has a unique drawing style. So it is because why your drawing is not same with others, it is because of each and every one of us has a different drawing style, our own style, which is not same with other. We not only don't look exactly like each other, but also differ in terms of the language we speak, our cultural backgrounds, the religious rituals we observe, and of course, the way we draw. Here, what we will find, we not only don't look exactly like each other, not only our appearance is same, it is, I mean, it should be, it will be quite different, but also differ in terms of the language we speak. The language which we are speaking, each of our language, it will be different from others. Our cultural backgrounds, then religious rituals we observe, and of course, the way we draw. So, different caste, cultures, people, if they are in a same class, automatically you will find their religious rituals also different, and of course the way we draw in the same manner, the drawing which we draw, that one also will be quite different. Boys, let us turn the page and proceed to page number 4. See here, fill out the following information about yourself. This one, children, you have to do by yourself. You do it, these are quite easy. I think you can do it easily. Now ask your teacher to help you check how many of you have similar answers. So this is a work which each of you have to do, and you can ask your teacher at the time after doing this work to help you check how many of you have similar answers. Is there anyone whose list matches yours exactly? Probably not. Means, see, first question, it is when I go out, I like wearing the dress. Okay, which dress? Whatever dress you wear that might not like by other, you'll find there's difference. At home, I speak in if different languages people boys are reading in the same class, their language it will be differ at their home with your language. Then my favorite sport is, that is the choice of the boys. Your choice it will differ, and I like reading books about this whole thing. After writing, you will find to compare with others, all are not same. But many of you may have similar answers. How many like reading the same kind of books? How many different languages are spoken by the students in your class? By now, you must have recognized the many ways in which you are quite like some of your classmates and other ways in which you are different from them. So, I think by now you must have recognized, you have identified the many ways, the different ways in which you are quite like some of your classmates, means class friends, those who are studying with you, and other ways in which you are different from them. Making friends, do you think it would be easy for you to make friends with someone who was very different from you? Do you think so? Read the following story and think about this. Now, children, you read out this story which is given under and think about this. I had meant it as a joke made up for a small wrecked boy who sold newspapers at the Janpat crossing at the BG intersection. A wrecked boy means untidy boy like that. About the boy who sold newspapers at the Janpat Road crossing at the BUG intersection. Every time I cycled past, he would run after me, holding out the English paper and screaming out the evening's headlines in a mixture of Hindi and English words. Screaming means to cry or say something loudly. In a mixture of Hindi and English words. He used to shout in a mixture of Hindi and English words. This time I stopped by the pavement and asked for the Hindi paper. So this time means at the time I stopped by the pavement. Pavement means a path for pedestrian at the roadside. Pedestrians means those who walk on footpath, like that we have to say. Okay. So he stopped by the pavement and asked for the Hindi paper. He asked, that means to give him a Hindi paper. His mouth fell open, as it said by me that to give a Hindi paper, his mouth fell open. You mean you know Hindi? He asked. He asked me whether I know Hindi. Of course, I said, as I paid for the paper, as I am going to buy it. Of course, I know Hindi. Why? What did you think? They replied, that boy, the boy who came with newspaper, he said, um, the boy who want to purchase that newspaper, he said, why? What did you think? He posed, but you look so Angrez, he said. So in the reply, he posed and he said, you look Angrez. Angrez means English person. He said, you mean you can even read Hindi? Of course I can. I said this time a little impatiently. Impatiently means restlessly. I can speak, read, and write Hindi. The reply, Well, he replied that I can read and write as well as speak Hindi. Hindi is one of the subjects I study in school. So, moreover, he said, Hindi is a subject which he study in school. As you children, you too, you study Hindi in school, the same way that boy also said. So, subjects, he asked, how could I explain what a subject was to someone who had never been to school? Subjects, the boy replied, subjects. Subjects means he do not understand what is subject. He asked, how could I explain what a subject was to someone who had never been to school? The boy who was holding newspaper to him to make him understand what is subject. So he confused that how can he make him understand the meaning of subject, because that boy, he had never been to school. Well, it is something I began, but the lights changed and the honking behind me grew a hundredfold, and I let myself be pushed along with the rest of the traffic. Honking means making horn or sound. So I began, but the lights changed. Traffic light, it was changed. And then he has to go from there. Let us see the next page. Page number 5. The next day, he was there again, smiling at me and holding out a Hindi paper. Another day, the next day, he was there again. The boy stood there again. This time, he was smiling at me and holding out a Hindi paper. He was holding out a Hindi paper. Bhaiya, he said, Aapka akhbar, your paper is here. By holding a Hindi newspaper. अब बताइए ये सब्जेक्ट क्या चीज है? Now these are the Hindi words, boy. Brother, here's your newspaper. Now you tell me, what is the meaning of subject? What thing is subject? Subject क्या चीज है? The English word sounded strange on his tongue. It sounded like its other meaning in English, to be ruled by someone else. Oh, it's just something to study, I said. The boy who came by riding cycle, he said, it's just something to study. And then, because the red light had come on, I asked him, have you ever been to school? And then, because the red light lit there, he asked to that newspaper seller, have you ever been to school? In the reply of that question, the boy said, never, he answered. And he added proudly, I began working when I was so high. He measured himself against my cycle seat. First, my mother used to come with me, but I can do it all alone. So, from when he started to sell this newspaper, he has narrated here. Where is your mother now? The boy said. He began to sell this newspaper with his mother. And later on, he himself only is selling that paper. Now again, the boy who came riding his cycle, he asked him, where is your mother now? I asked. But then the lights changed and I was up. I heard him yell from somewhere behind me. She's in Meerut. With the rest was drowned out. Means the reply. The boy said what he said. His mother is in Meerut. My name is Shamir, he said the next day. Next day, the boy said his name is Shamir, and very shyly he asked, what's yours? Very shyly means very timidly. He asked, what's your name? What's yours? It was incredible. Incredible means impossible to believe. My bicycle wobbled. Wobble means move or cause to move unsteadily from side to side. My name is Shamir too. In the reply, that boy also replied, his name is also Shamir. I said, what? His eyes lit up. Yes. I grinned at him. Grin means smile broadly. Smiled broadly at him. It's another name for Hanuman's father. You know, Hanuman's father name is also Samir like that. So now you are Shamir Ek and I am Shamir Do. So he said, yes, both of our name is Shamir. So you are Shamir Ek, means Samir 1, and I am Samir Do, Shamir 2. Do means 2. These are Ek and Do, these are Hindi words. He said triumphantly. Triumphantly means that shows great happiness or joy at a victory or achievement like that. Something like that, I answered, and then I held out my hand. Hath milao. Let's shake each other. Hath milao means let's shake each other. Samir though his hand nestled in mine like a little bird. I could still feel its warmth as I cycled away. So reaction comes like this. The next day he did not have his usual smile for me. Another day, as the boy who was riding cycle reached there, he found that he did not have his usual smile for him. There is trouble in Meerut, he said. Many people are being killed there in the riots. Riots means quarrel in between two communities of people. I looked at the headlines. Communal riots. It blazed. Blaze means fire repeatedly. But Shamir, I began. I'm a Muslim, Shamir, he said in answer, and all my people are in mirror. His eyes filled with tears, and when I touched his shoulder, he would not look up. So he was reacted very much to think about that communal riot. He was not at the crossing the day after, neither the day after nor ever again, and no newspaper in English or Hindi can tell me where my Shamirdo has gone. See, he was not at the crossing the day after. After that day, he could not find him anymore there, neither the day after nor ever again, and no newspaper in English or Hindi can tell him where his Samirdo has gone. So see here was again one question asked. I think I have given in you this answer also when we supplied different chapters question answer. Name three ways in which Shamirek and Shamirdo were different. In case I have not given, so differences you can find out and you can write. Did these differences prevent them from becoming friends? Of course not. One is literate, another is illiterate, one is Muslim, another is Hindu, like that you can write it. So while Shamirik is more familiar with English, Samirdo speaks Hindi. See, these are also different. One can speak English, another speaks in Hindi. Although they both are more at home in different languages, they still communicated with each other. They made the effort to do so because this was what was important to them. Shamir Ek and Shamir Do also come from different religious and cultural backgrounds. They are from different cultural backgrounds or religious also. Their religions also not same. Their culture also not same. While Shamir Ek is a Hindu, Shamir Do is a Muslim. See here another difference. So, if anybody asks you how Shamir Ek is different from Shamir Do, so the differences between these two you have to write here. Different religious and cultural backgrounds such as these are an aspect of diversity. So, different culture, different religious, these are aspects of diversity. Let's stop here for today. Thank you all.